Welcome back to another snorkeling adventure. Tonight we're going to be snorkeling in a Blackwater Creek. I've got my friend Luke with me here, and he has never been creek snorkeling before. Luke is an architect, but he's the kind of architect that has a goofy sense of humor and is always down for an adventure. If you're a longtime subscriber, you'll remember him from some earlier videos. Oh, and he also drives possibly the coolest car on the planet. It's a lime green Subaru Baja, and it is sweet. Blackwater Creek may not be your first choice for creek snorkeling, let alone snorkeling in general. The thing about Blackwater Creeks, there's still a lot of diversity out there, but it can be kind of hard to find. I think Luke's kind of skeptical of how this is going to go tonight. So my challenge tonight is to help Luke have a good time and see that there's still plenty of cool wildlife to be found, even in a creek like this. Hope you guys enjoyed coming along on our snorkel adventure, and we'll see you out there.
This is my first time creek snorkeling. I don't know if we're gonna see anything. The conditions are good, but as far as what's out there, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see a whole lot. You're in for as much of a surprise as I am. Like whatever that was.
It is time to suit up.
Gosh, I know you probably are used to this, but there are so many spiders. You're doing great.
Thank you.
I sympathize with my child putting on pants and not liking it.
What?
I'm excited.
Sir.
I want to see a big turtle. A big crayfish. A wide-mouthed bass.
Remember my shoes today. That's a good thing. Plan is we're gonna walk upstream a ways and then snorkel back downstream and see what all we can find. I'm gonna try and travel light, so I'm gonna leave the phone behind. So from here on out till I get back to the phone, it's gonna be all on the camera. You ready, Luke?
Yeah,
Let's
it's gonna be great. 2 turtles, 4 snakes.
All right,
1 alligator.
4 snakes is really optimistic, but heck yeah, let's do it. Despite a very dry winter and spring making this creek possibly the clearest it has been in quite some time, I forgot that the visibility in Blackwater at night is still pretty limited, but no turning back now. We were in for it. Still, it was clear enough to see fish. Right away I was greeted by this little blacktail shiner. This is a pretty common minnow species throughout much of the southeast, but they're still super cool. In fact, these guys are known for using sound to communicate. They make 2 distinct vocalizations, one to attract females and another to warn other males to stay away. I turned around and saw Luke sitting on the creek bed with his dive lights illuminating a small trail of the little shiners. Apparently they were pretty worked up, as one of them actually swam up and attacked the flashlight. Little fish has grit. Not far away, we also spotted this young black-tailed red horse. Peep that black bar on the bottom of its tail. 2 species right off the rip isn't bad. Looked like we were in for a pretty good night. The water in Blackwater environments like this creek is rich in tannins, a molecule released by decaying plant material. Tannins are what give Blackwater that amber tea stain color. It makes for some pretty spooky snorkeling, especially at night, so I was honestly kind of worried for Luke's sake. We had to use the narrow beams of our flashlights to cut through the underwater amber haze and be able to see more than 6 feet in front of us. Luke and I looked like a couple of Jedis in bad spandex floating down the creek, waving our little lightsabers around, but we were making do. Near the surface, we were escorted by an entourage of what I think were sailfin shiners, but there were so many I honestly just totally forgot to take a close-up look at them. Creeks like this one have a sandy bottom that is constantly changing based on the speed and volume of water that moves through the system, which was good for us as we could stomp around without worrying about damaging any sensitive aquatic plants. The creek bed was fairly barren, like a rolling sand dune, but the clear conditions had allowed a little more algae than usual to start growing on some submerged logs. Whenever it does rain again and murky conditions return, the algae will disappear once again. And then who should appear out of the dark but my old friend the chubsucker. I believe this is a lake chubsucker, which I know given the name you would expect them to be, I don't know, in a lake, but remember, rule number 1 is never underestimate a chubsucker. He was a little shy. Although there wasn't much plant life in the creek, there was no shortage of dead branches and logs. As ghostly as some of it looked, you gotta remember that all this dead stuff is underwater structure that creates homes for wildlife. I was really hoping to find a big turtle for Luke, so I was searching extra thoroughly through the maze of drowned branches. Not a turtle, but I did find a discarded can of twisted tea. I didn't have much space to carry trash, but I managed to tuck it into my dive belt so that I could at least pack this one out. Periodically, the creek got so shallow that we had to stop, haul out, and walk to a deeper bend before we could continue snorkeling. You could go from 6 inches of water to 2 feet to 7, all pretty quickly. In one of those deeper pockets, we saw a shape that looked very much like a leaf. A closer inspection revealed it to be a new fish species for the night, the shadow bass. Even out in the open in this tiny bowl in the creek bed, it was still incredibly well camouflaged. Despite their name, these fish are more closely related to sunfish. They don't get very big, and this adult was only about 5 inches long. Adults are usually solitary, spending their lives haunting the shadows, no surprise there, of rivers and creeks. Not far away, we spotted another smaller shadow bass. I kind of caught this fellow out in the open, but then he pulled an incredible stealth move and stuck his head under a leaf, completely vanishing from sight. And then we got Luke his wide-mouth bass. It wasn't huge, just under a foot long, but so far this was the biggest fish of the night. But then, I spotted a colorful shine out of the corner of my eye, kind of like the gleam coming off a gemstone in a cartoon. And indeed, it was the jewel of freshwater ecosystems, the long-eared sunfish. It's hard to see the true colors on this male at night, but in a couple months' time, he'll be fully pigmented for breeding season. Also, this guy was actually missing his ear on the right side of his head, which is called an operculum, but it didn't seem to be slowing him down any. It's always cool to see that unexpected splash of color in a blackwater environment. Side by side, Luke and I continued our snorkel downstream. It was getting late, stoke was still high, and 2 of our best finds of the night still lay ahead. In a large pile of branches, a small pattern stood out from the debris. A tiny turtle, only a few inches long, was clinging to the sticks. This is an intermediate musk turtle, a different species than the common loggerhead musk turtles I've run into in previous snorkeling adventures. These guys are only found in southern Alabama and the Florida Panhandle. Maybe not the big turtle we were looking for, but it's hard to be disappointed when you're face to face with one of these cute little guys. He watched us for a little while and then turned and disappeared into the dark. Along the bank, I saw a fish that appeared to be unsuccessfully attempting to maintain a low profile. It didn't have much color to it, but was an odd shape, so I knew it was different from what we had already seen. Turns out, this is a pirate perch. They are so named because a fish scientist exclusively observed them eating other fish, and he thought that was appropriate. Pirate perch are low-key kind of stout and short. Adults max out at less than 6 inches in length. Overall, they're a pretty derpy-looking fish. In fact, they're actually a distant relative of cave fishes. But the craziest thing about this fish is its butt. Not so much the butt itself, but more so where it's located. The genus name for these fish is Aphrododorus, which translates to excrement throat. So their butt is on their throat, and that's just how the pirate perch does it. Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho, I guess. So anyways, that aspect of a pirate perch's life is not for me. Regardless, this is my first time seeing this species, so I was pretty excited. And then, when what I thought was a pine cone turned out to be another turtle, we got Luke his 2 turtles. They may have been smaller than we were hoping, but they were turtles nonetheless. And with that, we found ourselves back where we started.
Nice log your sunfish in the open. Cool. All right, you guys got to see Luke's weight belt. Check this out. Got 5 pounds on there right now. Check this out. Hit it.
It's supposed to be quick release.
It was. It's a seat belt that he's turned into a weight belt, which is pretty awesome.
Blackwater Creek snorkeling debrief. Luke, what'd you think?
Oh, it's cold. But
Honest thoughts.
honest thoughts is that there's so many more fish than I expected to see. Just as soon as you put your head under the water, it's fish. It's just so easy to get right into because you get just like, boop, that's it, and then you're ready to go. You just find a little stream, and that's just like part of going out and just getting underwater and going snorkeling.
We didn't see any giant turtles or find 4 snakes, and this particular creek snorkeling adventure may not have been exactly life-changing for Luke or myself. But there's still something to be said for sticking your head beneath the surface and taking a look around in a tiny creek. There's a surprising amount of life and diversity within these small, winding waterways that lattice our terrestrial world. Not to mention a pretty staggering amount of beauty if you look at it in the right light. And it's all confined to a humble creek. Whether you're a biologist or an architect, or anything else, it's good to know who your aquatic neighbors are, because at the end of the day, it takes all of us to protect these places and all the things, whether big or in this case mostly small, that live within them.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm
Alright.
very tired.
Yeah.
It's 1 in the morning.
It's 1 in the morning. It's my fault.
1 o'clock. It was a great time.
All right, well, thanks for snorkeling. I guess let's go home.
A little longer night than we thought, but still a good night. Like I said, even though we didn't see some of the bigger stuff that, you know, tend to associate with really good time snorkeling, there's a ton of fish species I saw that I've never seen before. Still super cool. Great time, even in Blackwater Creek at 1 in the morning. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all
Next time.